heard it before. It wasn't funny the first time. Only you would ruin 3 lives for a silly piece of tin.
You're dumber than you look, Bats. It's not the trophy that matters, it's the title.
I knew your massive ego would never allow anyone else the honor of killing me. Though I have to admit she came a lot closer than you ever did. Could.
But I really must run. May the floss be with you.
All right, let's make some noise for Mr. Mark Hamill. The best Joker ever. And coming to you next, Mr. Kevin Conroy. The ultimate Batman.
Hello, Dallas! Joker's back in town!
All right, now we got that out of the way. Do you like microphone? Which would be very embarrassing.
You'd think I'd never done this before.
All right. Well, we have no moderator.
No, it's just you and me.
It's great. What do we want to
You
talk
and me
about?
against the world.
I did a panel the other day where I decided everyone's sick of Star Wars. Let's talk about cheeseburger flavored Oreos. Did you see those?
See who?
There's a on the internet. There's a picture of Oreos cheeseburger flavor, and the top cookie was removed. There was the frosting was half orange, which I'm assuming is the cheese, and then half reddish brown. I thought this must be an April Fool's gag, right? Or who knows? It could be real. It sounds hideous, but I don't want to get sued by an Oreo cookie. I'm sure they're delightful.
So, I wish you guys could see Mark when he's recording in the studio. Because his face, he just transforms. You throw yourself into it.
I've
so
never
much.
seen myself doing it. Sorry? Oh, sorry. No, I was doing. We were doing the Mask of the Phantasm or whatever HBO. Yeah, well, HBO came in to do that first look thing, right? And they placed the cameras strategically around and the lights were low. They were using natural light, so it wasn't obtrusive. It wasn't like big bright lights and cameras. It was the first time I'd ever seen myself performing it, and I thought, this is really grotesque. Because I'll tell you something, there's something about voiceover that's really liberating because you know people can't see you.
Yeah.
And you're free to make choices that you would never make on camera. It's like a different kind of, I mean, you've done Broadway and television and movies. This is so specialized.
You're much less self-conscious of your physicality.
Yeah.
And so you can really inhabit the voice, the character.
Yeah.
And Mark's character that he inhabits is so eccentric that you go to these crazy places.
Yeah.
That's what I mean about he transforms himself. It's really wonderful to watch.
Well, fortunately, I don't have to see it because it's a hideous sight.
And then I get very dark and
Yes.
Rudy.
Andrea. He'd always do that because Andrea Romano was our director. Why are there so many female directors in animation? It's extraordinary. I mean, they're as capable
most
of men. Yeah, Kim Zimmerman, Andrea Romano, Colette Sunderman. The last really powerful male director I remember was Gordon Hunt.
Amanda Wyatt.
Okay, yeah, so there you are. But we've come full circle now because we first worked together in '92 for the Batman animated series, and then, yeah. And then he went away, and they came up with various other incarnations. The Batman, Kevin Michael Richardson did Joker, and then there was Jeff Bennett on Brave and the Bold, and there's been great ones. John DiMaggio in Under the Red Hood, Michael Emerson in Dark Knight. I mean, I've never heard a Joker where, because I hear things like, oh, gee, I wish I'd thought of that, because they bring nuances and different approaches that, and everyone's legitimate in their own way, I think. It's really fun to hear all the different interpretations, but, so we go through and we don't come back together until they decide to do the Arkham game series.
Right.
And I was excited because I said, this was this really special kind of thing. Now, I'd never done an animated series. No, I did one animated series when I was a teenager. But, then I didn't work again in voiceover for 20 years. And so I did Batman. It was such an incredible experience because the writing was great, the art direction, the music, and the cast. And I just assumed they're all going to be this great. No, they're not. And when they said, would you want to come back for Arkham? I said, is Kevin doing it? Yes, Kevin's coming back. And all the original people were coming back, which was so great. I mean, you rarely get to have something come back that you were fond of early in your career that comes back. And I've been really lucky, because Luke came back, and Trickster came back, and Wing Commander came back. My whole career has been recycled. But I'm good. Because some of my relatives come, I have 4 sisters and 2 brothers, and they go, take us somewhere in Hollywood where we can see a lot of stars. And I'm not being facetious. I said, you know where you should go? The Hollywood Unemployment Office. Because I remember when I...
We all end up there.
Well, no, everybody's, they take the money out and it's theirs to... They should have it. But back when I was still going to unemployment, I saw so many people. I went, wow, this is more stars than, any place I can think of. But, I never expected to get so much satisfaction out of something like this. And, the fans have been there for us the whole time. And thank you all for being so supportive. So we do all these different versions. And it gets, the Arkham series was darker than anything we'd done before. It was rated, for 16 and above or something. Then we get to Killing Joke, where you go, it doesn't get more hardcore than this. But full circle now, we're doing...
R.
Yes, the first R-rated Warner Brothers animation.
Yeah.
Now we're doing something called Justice League Action, and it's... The reason I like this one is it's old school comic books, and it really is for young people. It was hard when 6- and 7-year-olds would come up to you and go, oh, I can't wait for Killing Joke. I go, don't see it. Please, don't watch it. Because, this one now is much more...
We were both so spoiled to start on the animated series.
Yeah. That was your first
That was
animated?
my first one. And I had no
love
idea.
him. He never read a Batman comic book in his life. I come in the first day and I'm nerding out all over this guy.
He's like a walking dictionary of Batman.
Well, listen, here's the truth. I didn't, the first episode I didn't play the Joker. I played Ferris Boyle in Heart of Ice, which later got an Emmy for Best Script. And, because what happened was I was reading the comic book reader, whatever, I was totally in the comic books. And when I saw the people they were assembling for Batman the Animated Series, I said, oh, they're not fooling around. These people, in the article said, our model will be the Max Fleischer Superman cartoons of the 40s. I said, oh, I've got to get on this. I called my agent and I said, please, get me on Batman. And she said, what do you want to do? I said, anything, just get me on there. So they called back and she said, they want you on Batman. I said, I didn't audition for anything. They said, no, but they're going to give you a part. See, because I'm a celebrity. And I said, what am I playing? They said, well, you're in the Mr. Freeze episode. I said, oh, Mr. Freeze, does he still have a German accent? I'm all like, no, you're not playing Mr. Freeze. I said, I got as whiny as when I was looking for the power converter. I want to play Mr. Freeze. I'm going to tell you to take the bigger power. No, No, but they said, go in and do it, you know. So I went in. That's the first time I met the cast, and I saw all the artwork on those walls, you know, those incredible Art Deco backgrounds and so forth. The real simple renderings and the, you know, the primary colors, so they really pop against those backgrounds. And I just was letting my nerd flag fly. You know, I'm peppering them with questions. Are you going to do Raja Ghul? Are you going to do Dr. Hugo Strange? Are you going to do episodes where there's no villain? Will Batman be a detective in this episode? Can you do episodes with like gothic romance? Because I was, you know, so into the comic books, and I didn't want it to. Because I think the Adam West Batman probably would have lasted many more years if they didn't adhere to that stringent formula of having a celebrity villain in every episode. And I loved the Batman. I loved Adam, but I thought we have a chance to show a little bit more versatility. So, you know, like I say, I was like all over the place, and they're like, relax, you got the part. You know? No, but I loved it. And Michael Ansara
did
played Mr. Freeze, and he was such a good actor. And again,
he was so passionate.
And he doesn't have a background in comics like similar to Kevin. So they're you know, he was doing his lines. I would weep for you if I still had tears to shed. They go, that's too much emotion. Pull it back a little. Mr. Freeze has no emotion. And it was really going against his natural instincts.
Yes.
But he was just terrific. And so I thought, well, that's it. I did the one part. I was happy. That's all I wanted to do. But then a couple of months, I don't know how much time went by, and they called and said, will you audition for the Joker? Now this time, you know, you have to audition. It's not like something they're just going to give to you. And I told this story before, so I'll be really quickly, but what I figured was, there's no way, I mean, after the pushback that Michael Keaton got, just for being announced that he was playing Batman, before they saw how great he was, got tremendous pushback, because he was known as more of a comedic actor. He's in Night Shift and plays sort of snarky, moral weasels and so forth. So I said, you know, I am so sure that it would be a public relations nightmare to cast this person who has played this iconic, virtuous character in the Star Wars movies. There's no way they're going to cast me as the Joker. So what the advantage was, I had no anxiety. I thought, I know I can't get the part. So a lot of times you go in and your neediness bleeds through. You want it so badly, it throws your timing off. It's terrible. Because I tell young actors, try and act like you don't want it. It's like the girl that won't date you in high school. You want her even more. So, I knew I couldn't get, that they weren't going to be able to cast me. And I've been in Amadeus for about a year. So I had an arsenal of goofy laughs, because that's the one thing that they say about Mozart is, you know, he has this laugh that startles the Viennese court because it just seems so wrong for this guy who can write this celestial music. Now you can't change the lines when you're doing 8 a week, but the laugh you could really play around with.
Right.
So just out of boredom, I'm thinking, I'm going to be, I'm going to do, I find famous laughs that I liked. And I get notes from the stage manager. A little Jerry Lewis today. Pull back a lot. But when I went in, like I say, I just thought, they can't cast me. I'm going to make them really sorry, because I'm the best Joker there ever. So cocky. I'm driving out of this studio going, top that. And then as soon as they said you got the part, I went, oh no, I can't do this. It's too high profile. I yelled at my agent. I said, I wanted to play Two-Face or somebody that never been done before. I can't be better than Cesar Romero. My friend said, and try and follow Jack Nicholson in anything. I went, oh no. I'm going to need therapy before I can overcome this. I was terrified. I went 180 degrees into, this is going to be a disaster, because everybody has an idea of how the Joker sounds in their head. There's no way I'm going to be able to fulfill that. Can't I be somebody that's Clayface? Let me be Clayface. But no. So that's the story.
But it's very liberating to not care. It's the most liberating thing. Like
You
when
didn't
I
care
went
at all,
in,
right?
I didn't care at all. I had never done an animated show. It was the first animated role I ever auditioned for. And I didn't even know Batman had never been an animated show. I assumed it had been, because it had been around forever. And I didn't know who Bruce Timm was, or Paul Dini, or Andrea Romano. These are these incredibly talented people. I had no idea who I was meeting, so I didn't feel any pressure at all. So when you feel no pressure, you're completely liberated to be crazy, to take chances, to really let your imagination rip. But when you feel like you're trying to impress somebody, or you want something really badly, as Mark was saying, if your neediness shows, that's the last person they want to hire, you know?
They have you do Bruce Wayne and Batman, right? Because what I love about Kevin, he really makes the nuances different. They're two recognizably different characters.
That was something I actually pitched to Bruce after I got the role.
Okay.
They cast me for the Batman voice. And then I said to him, wait a minute, because I was such a newbie to all this. So wait a minute, this is the richest guy in Gotham. He's got the big house on the hill. Every woman wants to date him. Everyone knows everything about him. And he puts on a mask and no one knows it's him. I said, seriously? Couldn't we, make it a little more convincing, the transformation? And Bruce said, oh, that's great, go with that. So I think it may have been in the very early episodes, before you were on, the original Bruce Wayne voice was really light.
Yeah.
It was really sarcastic. There was a lot of irony.
Yeah.
He was a real playboy. So it was a really strong distinction to Batman. But when they got the artwork back, they realized it was just too contrasting. It was too.
Oh yeah.
It was like it was a different show.
Well, the roots are in Scarlet Pimpernel and Zorro.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It was Scarlet Pimpernel.
Because he plays this effete, like airhead.
That's
god.
exactly the image I
Throw
got.
people off the scent of
Was
Batman.
Leslie Howard and
Yeah,
Scarlet Pimpernel.
exactly.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Well, there you are. So
But it was too much.
it was.
So they had me go back and re-record the first few Bruce Wayne recordings to tone it down, just to make him closer to Batman. They still liked the distinction, but they wanted it to be closer. But so I was completely a novice to all of this. And as Mark was saying, when you're that much of a novice, you really feel free. And when you know your face isn't being seen and it's just your voice, and you're in this dark room, you feel very liberated to expose yourself. I did anyway. Not naked.
Not literally. They warned you about flash photography,
In an emotional sense.
but feel free to flash us.
Those are the outtakes.
Yeah. Well, see, no, I
C
played
roll.
with another actor, so the first few episodes I did, I had to dub
Right.
to something. They had already finished the animation
Right.
for the other performance. I remember the first one I did where it was an original recording, and talk about feeling liberated, because before, you're locked into the animation that's already there.
Sure.
And like I say, I was just a bundle of insecurity, because I as soon as cocky as I was when I knew I couldn't get it the minute I got it, I fell apart. In fact, I remember driving the first recording before I met you, because I was going to be dubbing an episode, and I thought, I can't even remember what I did on my audition. So I'm in the car saying, did I sound like it? Did I sound like this? Did I sound like this? I didn't know what I was doing. And I'm laughing, I'm trying to get the laugh back. And of course, in Los Angeles, you see a guy in a car by himself laughing hysterically, it's just another Tuesday. So I got no attention at all. And of course, when I got there, they said, well, we have your reference tapes. The stupid was implied. I was like 18 or 19 at Hanna-Barbera, the animated version of I Dream of Jeannie, called Jeannie. Yeah, I know. When I worked with Larry Hagman later, I really bewildered him, because I said, I played the teenage version of you in the cartoon Jeannie. He thought like I had escaped from the lunatic asylum. He had no idea they had done this. Larry Hagman, oh, he was hilarious. What a guy. Great guy. All right, do you have any questions?
Any questions?
You talk about Killing Joke or not? I'm good. I went on Wikipedia this morning to read about it. Because I'll tell you something. Did you see it with an audience the first time? Killing Joke?
Yes.
San Diego.
Yes, in San Diego.
I wish I could have been there, because I would have loved to see it with an audience. What happened to me was I was in England doing episode 8, and they said you have an interview with such and such a magazine Friday at 5 o'clock or whatever UK time, and I wasn't working that day. Fine, and they sent the disc of the movie over, and we were on night shoots. That's where you sleep all day and you get up like at 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and then you go and shoot when the sun goes down until the sun comes up the next morning. It's like Vampire Hour,
right?
All night shoots. It's weirdly comforting because, you know, the traffic is fabulous at 4 in the morning, believe me. And what happened was I got home from work and I had night shoots the next day, so the sun had just come up. I went, oh my gosh, I've got Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and then we're doing a really involved sequence, a lot of effects and creatures and stuff. So I said, I've got to watch this now. Ordinarily, I would have brought my kids or got somebody to watch it with me, but I went down into the basement room at 5:45 in the morning. I put the disc on and watched it all by myself. And it just creeped me out. I was just like, ugh, that was really distasteful. And then I went upstairs to go to bed, and it didn't give me nightmares or anything, but I was exhausted, but I just couldn't get to sleep. It just really got under my skin, which is probably what it should do.
Yeah, that's the intent.
The book is really controversial, and I think one of the things that happened with the movie was to expand it. You know, because years ago, when we finished Batman the Animated Series, I was really reluctant to give up the Joker, and I thought, oh, this is one of my favorite parts, but I'll never play it again. And I pitched doing a book on tape of Killing Joke, where it would be just the voices. One of the things we could avoid is, you know how persnickety Alan Moore is. He hates every adaptation of anything he's done. And I thought, well, if we honor every single word, every and comma and oopsies, if we do it exactly as written with no deviation, all we have to do is add the music and effects, and we'll get Kevin, we'll get the cast together. But the problem is it's not economically viable. In other words, they can't figure out a way to make a lot of money with a book on tape. So I just sort of forgot about it. But I guess you know more about this, the problem of expanding the script to make...
The story just isn't long enough to be a feature-length film.
Right. It could have been a good two-parter, but even then it's not right for television.
But the choice Bruce was faced with was whether to pad it with filler or make it longer, which I'm so glad he didn't do. Right. It would have diluted it.
Yes, yes.
So he decided to keep it in its pure form, but then add that pre-story,
right?
Which a lot of people took issue with because it was kind of emotional. It was a bit softer. You know, it was more about horror.
I remember I was shocked at that moment when that happens between you and Batgirl. You know, I mean, I don't remember reading that in the script. I don't remember if they sent me the whole script or maybe just my sides. Because more and more, at least in the old days, we all worked together, like a radio play.
Well, that was the first time we had done a major thing that we didn't work with.
Right.
Which was weird.
It was weird, because now they can make you overlap lines. I mean, they don't really need you in the same studio, but like musicians, you want to hear the other people's timing, you know, you want to hear their rhythms, you want to hear, and sometimes the way they deliver a line gives you, it's a real disadvantage to work by yourself without the other actors. Yes. That's just my personal opinion. But Disney and DreamWorks and all those people that are super into micromanaging every syllable, you know, they just really want to micromanage everything. So I remember seeing that preview story, and I was shocked. I mean, part of the criticism that the book got was that it was misogynistic, you know, that it was so brutal to women and so forth. But it's not for the faint-hearted.
It's not for the faint-hearted, but that's sort of the point.
Yes.
He's intentionally being brutal to that woman to make Batman, to push him to the edge.
And to make Gordon go crazy.
To make Gordon go
really
crazy. Can you push someone to the point, someone so purely good as Batman, to the point where he will kill?
Yes.
That's the whole point of it.
But from my point of view, the Joker became what he became because of one bad day. And he sees that that's what Batman is. Batman had one bad day.
Yeah.
And he dealt with the loss of his parents different than I dealt with the loss of my
Right.
wife and my
You
child.
turned it into something good,
Yes,
a
yes.
force for good.
But like, it's two sides of the same crazy coin.
Exactly.
Because you're talking about here, you are a billionaire that puts on a costume and goes and fights crime at night. I mean, how crazy is that?
I don't think it's so odd.
Yeah. Well, to each his own. But what I'm saying is, people have talked about the flip side of how Batman and Joker are so similar in so many ways. Although, Joker's goal is to create chaos and destroy order, and yours is quite the opposite.
The exact opposite.
But,
They are the flip sides of the same coin.
yes.
They define each other.
Yes, very much so. And one of the people say, "Oh, do you have a favorite line?" I said, one line that really made me think, "Oh, that makes me understand him a little better." There was an episode called "The Man Who Killed Batman," where Matt Frewer is playing this nothing of a hood, not even an important guy, who the underworld believes has successfully killed Batman. Okay. And it destroys the Joker. He has no reason to live anymore. He's shuffling around the house, like a house husband,
In his bathrobe and slippers.
little flurry slippers. Yeah. It's a sad sight. No one wants to see Joker at the beach with a metal detector. It's just too sad. It's very sad. And, Harley's going, why don't we pull a bank heist, Puddin'? She's trying to cheer me up and everything. But at one point, I forget the setup, but the line the Joker says is, "Without a Batman, crime has no punchline." I went, wow.
Yeah.
Crime has no punchline. Who would associate a punchline with crime at all? But it really gave me, it sort of opened another window of understanding who he was, especially the way he reacted. The French call it raison d'être, what a reason to be.
Yeah.
But it's a fascinating character. People say, "Do you ever get tired of playing it?" I said, because he's so crazy, he's unpredictable. And when he's unpredictable, he's never boring. So every time I think, okay, this is the last time, I should probably go out on a high note. I know everyone got on me and said, "Oh, Hamill, you're such a liar." Because I retired from the role. I forget when. Because I thought, I don't know. It was after Arkham Asylum. That was the first one, right? Arkham Asylum.
Arkham City.
Arkham City. So when that one came out, it turned out so much better than anyone expected, because I don't really play games. My sons do, and I'll give them the game if they send it to me, and I'll 6 months later say, "So how was it?" I remember I played Wolverine. I thought, "Oh boy, I want to get in another franchise that'll run for many, many games." So I did one. They sent me the game a year later, whatever. I gave it to Nathan and Griffin. They played it. About 3 months later, I said, "Hey, you guys, how was the Wolverine game?" They went, looked at each other. "Whoa, you were good." No, that bad, huh? No, but when Nathan called, he said, "Dad, go to joystick.com. You guys got a 9.7 or whatever." I said, "Is that good?" He goes, "Is it good?" So you have this incredible response, because with games, it's really hard to know. When you read a script, you can sort of arc out the drama of it, and you know where you are. With games, you give them a million puzzle pieces so that the players can put the...
There were 37,000 lines in Arkham Knight. 37,000.
Where we have to cover every possibility of what you do.
Every possible variable of the way you play.
Then I caught my boys killing me on purpose in Wing Commander just to see what would happen. They said, "Why did you fly into that wall?" "We wanted you to die." Nothing personal. But anyway, so I thought, it's like George Costanza on Seinfeld. I want to end on a high note and then exit, right? And I'm never coming back. Because I said, "There's no way we can top this. No way in a million years." But what happens is, not only they come back, but they say, "Well, Troy Baker's always waiting in the wings."
Oh, yeah.
Listen, nobody loves Troy more than me. He's not only can he do a great Joker, he's very versatile. He can do pretty much anything. But you get covetous of it. And I don't want to say it's like I don't want to give other people the break. But in other words, if they ask me to do it, I can't resist. I want to cook, and they keep loading back in. So.
Because it's such a great character.
Yeah, it's a great character.
So much fun.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, be careful what you wish for, because I remember saying, well, if I ever come back, I'll do it if they do Killing Joke. And I hadn't read it since the late 80s. And then when there was where they were going to do it, I went back and read that, and I went, ooh, I forgot how grim this thing is. And it's really heartbreaking, because he was so close to being okay.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, he would have had a life as a mediocre comic. He could live with that.
No, it's a very disturbing story.
It is, and it's tragic. It's very sad.
Should we open it up to questions?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Hi, Mr. Hamill. My birthday is in 2 days, and I was wondering if you could sing Happy Birthday to me in the Joker voice.
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, dear.
Lindsay.
Happy birthday to whatever you said. That other panel, someone said, do the Batman eulogy. Because at one of the cons, I did the eulogy from the man who killed Batman. And I started out, I said, you know what, I have to admit, I'd forgotten the lines. I think I had them written down before. But who knows? Pull it up on your iPad and I'll do it. But next question. Yes, sir.
Oh, they're way over there. Way over there.
Oh, and I'm running the show. Go ahead.
Sweetheart, go ahead. Excuse me. I got the mic. Go ahead, sweetheart. Go ahead.
This is a truly great honor to meet you guys here, and I have a question for Mark. Do you happen to recall a role you did in this game called Crash Bandicoot: The Wrath of Korra? You played this elemental man named Pyro, and this game also had Thomas Wilson and Arm Learning in it.
I don't know what you're saying. I didn't hear that.
I'm sorry, he asked about the Crash Bandicoot character that you played.
Yeah. Did I do Crash Bandicoot? Listen, you know what happens in animation? You play a part, it takes them like 6 months to a year to animate it. Some person put a picture in front of me today from Powerpuff Girls. I said, oh, that's cute. Oh, you want me to sign it? Why? She said, because you voiced that cat. Oh my God. Talk about short-term memory loss. I mean, I'm at the age now where I can't remember what I had for breakfast. Instead, she's asked me, I guess I did Powerpuff Girls years ago, but they don't send you an email saying, oh, by the way, your episode's on Thursday.
No, you never.
No. So unless you really stay on top of it, they slip away from you, you know? I mean, somebody sent me a readout of the animated voices, and so did I do Crash Bandicoot? I don't know.
You did a character Pyro?
What's that?
Pyro. The character Pyro. Fire.
That was my character, Pyro? How was I? Oh, you need it. Oh my gosh.
Okay, next question.
What is your favorite part of any of the Star Wars movies that you were in?
The part where I get cast as the Joker. Listen, you know what's so funny? Because we come to these cons and you guys just give us so much energy. It's really thrilling and it's moving in a way. Because I don't get this in my everyday life. You know, I mean, you come to my house, I don't have Star Wars pictures up over the walls or anything. And when you come and realize the effect that you have on an audience, there's just so much energy and so much affection and love. I'm telling you, it's really moving in a way. It's like, you know, all our lives we've been trained to entertain people. That's what you do in show business. You're always trying to connect with the public and find a rapport with them. I mean, in a way, it's like perpetually running for office. You know, you're shaking hands, you're kissing babies. I'm getting a little confused in my age. Occasionally, I shake babies and kiss hands. But basically, what my point is, it's like you're in a public relations job that they didn't train you for in drama school.
There's no training for that.
None. But again, I mean, I know I'm speaking for Kevin. We're so grateful for the support that you give us.
Yeah.
I mean, I said to my kids, I said, you know, those fans are more supportive than you guys. Because, you know, they've heard all my stories. They're sick of me.
You know, when you come to Comic-Con, you hear so many incredible stories from people about what the shows meant to them as children, or how it helped them escape a difficult family life or a difficult upbringing. I hear such passionate stories, and to be associated with that, to have your work be associated with that, I know, I speak for both of us, we're so grateful. We're very grateful to be a part of it.
He was talking about how he had 8 years of horrid child abuse, and, you know, he said, you know, so when I watched Empire Strikes Back and found out about your family's situation, it kind of cheered me up. See, no matter how bad your family is, the Skywalker family, much more effed up. Oh my God. And it goes on. How about that nephew of mine? Oh boy. It never ends. They never call, they never write. And then they go and join the Sith. It's awful. Oh my God. With the red lightsaber. You don't need a handle on that thing. Go put your eye out. How many times you got warned by your parents you'll put your eye out? Mom, I'm playing with silly Buddy. But come to the shell. You put your eye out with the shells. All right. Next question.
Question over here. Yes, so I was wondering if behind the scenes, just for fun, you guys have ever reversed voice roles. Which is to say, Kevin Conroy to play the Joker and...
Yeah, we should do a mind meld episode. They, you know, if they thought of it, it'd be a good idea.
That would be fun. I could never do Joker like you.
I try and practice. You're sort of Harrison Fordy in a way. Your resonance in your voice. It's great. It's like a good neck massage. And he would always...
Batty.
Okay, we have a question over here.
He sells himself short. He could do a great Joker. I know it. He's a great actor.
Kevin, I'm sorry to go with this question. I love you. I mean, you don't, no disrespect, but Luke was my first childhood hero, so I have to ask this of Mark. Mark, I've heard you said before that when Star Wars came out, it was completely, the reaction was completely, it took you by surprise, took everyone by surprise. No one expected it. Now that you've had almost 40 years to, I'm 40 also.
You don't feel old, do you?
I'm 40 also. Now that you've had almost 40 years, I'm sorry. I feel like I have foot and mouth disease right now. But
I'm on rest during the question. I'm listening though.
What do you think it was about the Star Wars franchise that appeals to the masses and why it's endured for this very long?
I don't think the appeal is that much different than the Batman comics. I mean, they are morality tales. It's good versus evil. And it goes back to like the fairy tales that we saw in the movies, Snow White and all that. I mean, it's clearly aimed at the young.
Mythology.
Yes, exactly. Mythology.
It's like Greek mythology. It's classic literature. They're morality plays.
Yes.
They're all morality.
Very optimistic. I mean, I think the message of selflessness and doing what's right for the greater good rather than thinking about yourself, you know, which applies to what Bruce Wayne does. So, I mean, it works on a primal level, I think. But I think the mafia pressure helped in the early years. Get it into theaters. Hey, there's a space movie. Be a shame if you didn't play it in the theater. Who knows? It's if you spin the roulette wheel, you know, if you spin it enough times, you're just going to hit your number. And we just got lucky where all the elements came into place. Same with the animated series. Because, I mean, when I read that first script for Heart of Ice, I went, wow, this is really melancholy and deep, where your empathy is with Dr. Freeze, Victor Freeze, trying to work on a solution, you know, cryogenically freeze his wife because she's got a terminal disease. I thought, this is far from Super Friends.
Well, that comes back in Sub-Zero.
Yes.
Sub-Zero, I'll get into that too.
Right.
We got a question over here.
So my question is for like both of you. So what's like the weirdest thing that's happened on set, like when you were recording?
On set, weird.
Well, it wasn't.
Oh, it was weird. Were you there the day of the LA riots? Were you in that recording?
I was when we were in Silver Lake.
Yes.
Yes, and I called and I said, there's not going to be a recording today, right? Because, I mean, the city was on fire.
The city was on fire.
And broken glass.
I called my agents. I said, this can't be happening. You've got a booking. You've got a booking.
So I live in Malibu out at the beach, so I said, I'm going to have to allow for, I went almost 3 hours early.
3 hours.
So I left at like 11 for 2 o'clock or something, and I got there within 10 or 15 minutes of when I was supposed to be there.
And everyone else in the city was going the other way, right?
Yeah, I stayed off the freeways and tried to go Surface Street, although Ventura Boulevard had all the broken glass and so forth. I'm not getting confused with the earthquake, too. All I know is when I finally got to Silver Lake, the receptionist looked up to me and goes, what are you doing here? I said, what are you talking about? There's a Batman recording today. She goes, oh, no, that's been canceled. Are you kidding me?
We started, but every time the door opened, smoke would come into the room. Because the studio was near the fires, the riots. And people started panicking. And
That's
the smoke
right.
was coming in, it was getting more and more smoke. And finally, Andre said, look, no one can concentrate. You all got to go home, get out of here.
Really?
So I said, what did you bring us here? Why did you bring us here?
Yeah, see, I'm confusing now. I was talking about after the Rodney King verdict, there was riots.
Yeah.
Then there was the earthquake, the Northridge earthquake.
No, I was talking about the LA.
And then the fire.
Rodney King.
I know, see, in Los Angeles, I mean, the next story will be about locusts coming. You couldn't get there. It's all biblical in origin. All right?
One question here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think y'all played an iteration where either of y'all have killed each other, Batman and Robin. Do y'all think y'all's character would finally kill each other? Or y'all be locked in eternal combat forever?
It's hard to understand you.
My bad, I'm kind of nasally finding something. Would y'all's characters finally kill each other? Batman and Robin.
Well, that's
Batman and Joker.
That's the whole question at the end of The Killing Joke, is whether Batman does kill.
Yeah, and listen, like I say, when I was on Wikipedia this morning, I read there's a inference that Joker rapes Barbara. Now, but I certainly didn't play that at all. Another element that I thought that's crazy is that someone said that Joker gives Commissioner Gordon LSD before he takes him on that crazy. Ray Wise does a great job as Gordon, but again, I thought, how much of this is actually in the text?
I'm going to step backstage for a second.
Okay. Sorry. All right. Well, listen, now we can really talk about it. I want to tell you, this guy is the biggest pain in the ass. Thank God I can finally be candid. I never get booked on these by myself. And I was the one that said, hey, Kevin, drink lots of liquids. Drink it all morning, because, no, all right. No, we'll do another question.
Hi, Mark, my question is for you. Since you're such a big Batman fan, aside from the Joker, do you have another favorite villain or particular character from a storyline?
Hey, you. Come on up. Up. You made it? Listen, I thought Clayface would be interesting because he's like 500 different characters. Hey, the gang's all here. Here we go. This is Millie, and this is Mabel. They're both rescue dogs. Look, this one was on death row. puppet. She's a puppet. Puppy and Muppet. No, yeah, Clayface, because he's so versatile. He can be anything you want. Then you get to do a variety of voices depending on who you're posing as. That's just off the top of my head, but I hope that will suffice. All right.
Hi, I have a question. I would like to know what would happen if Luke Skywalker met the Joker?
Luke Skywalker met the Joker?
Yeah.
Wow, I wonder if he could use Jedi mind tricks to sort of mellow out the Joker. Who knows? Everyone wants to know that, you know? Who would win in a fight, Darth Vader or the Joker? I don't know.
Thank you for coming to Lifelong.
What are the imponderables in life? What do you think would happen? You probably have thought of given this way too much thought.
I think it's like I'm down with a lightsaber.
Captain Marvel with a question?
Actually, Blink, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. Again, the lights are right in my eyes. Oh, of course you are.
Yeah, that's most original.
No, I kid.
That's the most original character someone has actually called me. I've been called a Ninja Turtle or Mr. Incredible, which I am. Anyway, I really wanted to ask this question this past Friday when you had your panel.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the most important questions that my friend wanted to ask you. What shampoo does Luke Skywalker use in The Force Awakens?
Chelsea, do you remember what shampoo we were using? Like this morning, I used whatever shampoo was in the shower at my hotel. I don't know what this thing is about, because they do the thing where you take the hood down and maybe it's Maybelline or they do L'Oreal parodies. I mean, you never know how people are going to react to these things. I didn't think my hair was so perfect, but because it was long, but then I had a piece that went like here. That the shoulder length hair was, a match to my real hair. But I don't remember. Do you remember what shampoo we had? What kind? Come here, Chelsea. Here's your chance for the spotlight. This is my youngest daughter, Chelsea. Sorry.
There you go. I'm sorry, Mark.
But it was Bumble and Bumble and then like Charles something from England that they would use on set for you.
And if they're listening, maybe they'll send us a free case. Yeah. Mel Brooks was on The Tonight Show one time, and he talked about how much he loved Raisinets. And they sent him cases and cases of the Raisinets. Mel Brooks just mentioned on the show, he says, it's the perfect candy. It's got fruit in the middle, it's covered with chocolate. Mel, he just goes off. Yeah, exactly. And the companies sent him like a case a month for a year. I know. When I met him, I said, you should have talked about Mercedes-Benz. Pick your product, buddy.
Performers from that generation are so wonderful. Like Carl Reiner, when he came in. Carl Reiner came in for a Justice League Action episode. And he's like 92? And he came in and it was like a lesson. He was giving us a lesson in voiceover. It was incredible.
Oh, he can do anything.
He was editing himself as he recorded. And he was re-recording as he went before the director could say anything. He was doing the director's job for him.
Well, people forget the Dick Van Dyke Show. If you haven't seen it or you can get it on disc. It's one of the greatest sitcoms ever written, and largely because of Carl Reiner. It's the story of his life. He was a young writer on your show of shows.
Right.
So he said, what piece of real estate do I occupy that nobody else does when I'm writing a pilot? I'm a young comedy writer. I worked with an egocentric, larger-than-life Sid Caesar. So, and he played Alan Brady. He's a wonderful actor. And Alan Brady wasn't supposed to be really seen. In the first season, he's from behind in the barber chair, or he's on the massage table. But they realized we've got to get him on the show. And Carl played the role, and brilliantly. It's Dick Van Dyke, Mary Tyler Moore, one of the all-time. I feel so old now because people say, what's your favorite sitcom? I'm like, Sergeant Bilko. It's just like, they go, is that horrible movie with Steve Martin? I go, no. It's Phil Silvers. Uh-oh, we're losing them. They're walking out in droves. See, serves me right for talking about Sergeant Bilko. All right, let's talk about Batman. Oh, it's over.
Time to go.
It's over?
Time to go.
Oh.
Time to go.
I'm so glad we had this time together. Seems like we just got started before the time comes to say so long. Good night, everybody! He's been drinking, I can tell. I promised you I'd be Clark Gable this time. I wasn't last time. Thanks, everybody. Thanks so much.